Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to another high level game. Today we have Zest versus Gumiho. Gumiho the master of mech and Zest the master of weird pylon placement apparently, as I've never seen this pylon placement before and I do not understand whatsoever what it is for. I guess this adept will make it slightly faster to the other side of the map, as we're also seeing a 12 pylon 13 gate coming out of Zest. For the people familiar with the early game of the Protoss, they'll know that this cuts a couple of workers, 2.5 workers, and it gets an adept across the map about 10-11 seconds faster, depending on how tight Zest is going to be. The regular timing for a Cybercore to go down is 124. If you're very fast, it can be at 123. This time it's going to be 114, okay, 9 seconds faster than usual. That's actually a pretty slow 12-13. But because this map is very small, it's still going to hit the other side of the map relatively quick. Minerals are being mined as well here by Zest. We'll go back home most likely with this worker, build the Nexus, move across the map and mine the second set of minerals. This will, I think, remove the delay by another, 2 seconds maybe. So he should get this. I like that he isn't scouting with this build, by the way. There's really no need to scout with this build whatsoever. Just making sure that there's nothing weird in the corner, or he wants to build a pylon there, perhaps. Oh, okay, he's not going to mine the minerals, and he's not opening up with an adept either. It's actually starting over here with a stalker. Alright, Zest. What do we have here? Stalker into Stargate? No, I haven't seen this build before. I'm going to have to be absolutely honest with you guys. I have never seen this exact build order before. The second unit instead is going to be an adept, and I actually kind of like this. This will allow Zest to deal a fair amount of damage with that first stalker. It is... What is this? Marine into Tech Lab. Marine is scouting on the map still. It's not going to find anything. And, well, it will find that it can't return home, as there will be a stalker between him and the command center. This command center is going to get temporarily delayed, I believe. This stalker should be able to get this SCV before it finishes it up. Perfect stuff. Well timed out build order here for Zest. The adept is also joining up. I actually believe that this is the perfect build order opener for Gumiho though. I'm not entirely sure about sending all these SCVs down, but he actually gets the CC and doesn't lose any other SCV. So he lost 1 SCV total. Now this Cyclone will move out. I think he should just keep this landed, start the orbital as quickly as he can. There's no need to go back upstairs. He also scouted the fact that there is a Nexus, so really nothing to be afraid of. The follow-up indeed is going to be an Oracle here, as Zest wants to most likely go into his Blink Stalkers as well from here. He's been playing this an awful lot. We saw him play this in the Super Tournament a couple of times. So when I say a couple of times, I want to say almost every single game. At least against Maru. Against Bunny, I'm not so sure. I can't really recall those games. I think there was at least 1 Proxy Void Ray in there as well, so... He won't have played it every single game. Yep. Twilight Council goes down, and the follow-up, of course, 2 extra gateways here for Zest. Now, these gateways, compared to usual, the timing tends to be 325, 323. But because of his, well, I don't want to say his poor early game, but his weak economical early game, because he wants that extra pressure on the other side of the map instead, there's almost a full 20-second delay on these 2 gateways. Now, that does mean that if Gumiho decides to do something aggressive in the early game, that it will be difficult to hold, because Zest really didn't achieve that much with his own early game. He cut a lot of workers, he put a delay of 20-25 seconds on his first warp in. He's just going to be in kind of a painful position here, I believe. Forward gateway is going down to try and make up for that unit deficit that perhaps he otherwise would have. Also throws down a 3rd Nexus here, and a pylon added onto it as well. There's 3 units out, 2 adepts, 1 stalker. I guess the Oracle makes a 3rd unit. This stasis ward is being constructed here at the top of the ramp. Zest has absolutely negative vision, by the way, on what's going on the other side of the map. He has no clue whatsoever. Gumiho also actually has no clue, so it's 2 players in the blind currently. And quite frankly, I don't really mind Gumiho's position. He's going into a quick stim. If he does not move out with this army, I will really like his position. If he decides to move out with this army without combat shield, I think he will hit Zest when Zest is at his absolute peak. Zest is investing a lot in quick infrastructure, fast gateways, which will need to provide a lot of units early on. Now this means that Zest is going to be producing 3-4 units at a time here, and his follow-up infrastructure is going to be delayed. We see another warp in of 4 stalkers. The more gateway units you tend to build early on, the more your forge upgrade is going to be delayed. The more gateway 5, 6, 7 and 8 are going to be delayed, and all of this is happening right now. That means that Zest is heavily invested in this stalker force achieving something, and I think he might just be capable of just doing that. Snipes 1 Cyclone immediately. Stim gets activated. Second Cyclone gets taken out as well. Very sloppy defense here out of Gumiho so far. Not controlling his units very well whatsoever. Loses 2 SCVs, couple of Marines as well, and Zest blinks out. This was a massive success here for Zest, who's going to be very happy with how that went. Killed 8 Marines, or at least 7 Marines. I think 1 Marine went down earlier. Took out 2 Cyclones as well. Now, of course, Cyclone's not the most influential unit anymore at this stage of the game. Very good in the early game, but once you get past that early game, not quite as useful no more. This single Marine drop, now I'm a huge fan of this, and especially against this type of build, where you invest a lot in early gateway units, because Gumiho is going to hit as the gateway influx is basically starting. This means that there's going to be maybe a 3 or 4 warp in of units at home, if that even is going to be available. If that's not available, like in this case they're going to be slightly out of position, Gumiho stims in with +1 Marines, with stim and combat shield. A recall needs to be used. And if the recall gets used, this army gets to move across the map for free. And on top of that, I think these Marines might just be able to deal a lot of damage really quickly. Look at the speed of these probes going down. 8, 9, 10 workers will fall immediately. Pylon will get focused down as well. And I think we'll see a quick pickup here. Oh, a little bit slow out of Gumiho there. We'll lose that medevac. Got too greedy, killed the pylon, lost the full medevac in return. At the same time, there's a lot of momentum on the side of Gumiho. Tries pushing forward. I don't think this is quite the correct call though. There's a lot of money in the bank for Gumiho. Just waiting for his next warp in as well. And once he gets that, I think he should be capable of breaking this. There come the 8 Zealots, spending all of his money at once. Beautiful stuff. Battery overcharge gets used as well. Where are those Zealots coming from? Across the map? Excuse me? Zest very confident in his hold here. I'm not so sure about the blink forward, Zest. I'm not. That was not the play. I still believe he's going to clean this up, and kind of comfortably as well. But that was an extremely poor fight out of Zest. This should have been a complete win. This should have been the easiest win of his life as well. First of all, that warp in across the map was kind of baffling, and then that blink forward, like 2 absolutely atrocious moves here in a row. Zest still just in a pretty decent spot. Wants to attack into... I am not so sure about this attack either, Zest. Is this really what we need right now? We're up a base. I mean, we're outmining our opponent. Can we just calm down a little bit? I do like the gateway across the map. I'm sure it's going to provide some value. But I mean, you're up 20 supply. Is attacking into a 2-base Terran really... as we would say it, the dream? Is this the Protoss dream? I don't think it is. I don't believe it is. 2 tanks are here. Another single medevac gets sent out. This gateway on the side will get spotted. And perhaps it will also do some spotting by itself. The gateway won't, but the pylon will. Pylon saw that medevac drop. I'm not sure if Zest also noticed it. Perhaps the pylon and Zest should communicate every now and then. This marine drop most likely will go for a kill on that pylon. I would discourage Gumiho from doing that. It's a risky play, and it really is a move without a lot of benefit and with potentially a lot of harm. Gumiho will start taking this out at the same time as well, and now he's just going to lose his 3rd CC. This is Gumiho, a couple of misreads here in this game. Not quite understanding his position perhaps, but his position is to sit back and hope that Zest falls asleep in front of his computer. I don't think there is another option here for Gumiho. Zest slowly but surely transitioning into something else as well. Gumiho getting his +2 attack. 7 SCVs went down on the side of the Korean Terran. Known for meching, but now playing an aggressive marine bio game. Oh, medevac gets back home. That is something at least. And at the same time, Zest hasn't really been building a lot of probes. There's no fort base yet either. The tech follow-up is relatively slow. Is this 4 tech lab marauders? Holy crap. This guy really built for attack labs, huh? It's got to be a huge Marauder count, but once again, Gumiho trying to go for an attack. I'm not quite sure if he can. Seems to be winning this fight pretty handily, though. No armor upgrades on these Zealots makes them quite weak. Mines dealing a lot of damage as well. These Marauders in combination with the Marines and the constant healing of the Medivacs, just a little bit too much here for Zest. I am stunned, first of all, that Zest wanted to take a fight here. And I'm also confused how well this fight went for Gumiho. I mean, there really was no reason for Zest to take this, as he's transitioning into double Robo Colossi at this point. Now all of a sudden he's going to be in a little bit of trouble. He's making it very difficult for himself here. Still a lot of healing. And this is one of the things that happens in fights against Terran, is that you might trade out a lot of the bio against your own gateway units. But if the Medivacs survive, life can just become so darn hard. These 3 Marauders are going to get caught, but it also means there's some potential for these Zealots to get caught. Now, Zest quickly moves them away, and that is 100% the correct call here. Gumiho probably is kind of shocked that there's no fort base here, by the way. I would be shocked if I was the Terran here. The Zealots moving into the incorrect position, need to recall now. That means there's currently no recall available. This SCV is scouting the other side for a fort base. And if we take an objective look at this game right now, I'd say that Gumiho, if he starts producing Vikings after these 2 Medivacs, I think he's actually in a pretty good position. 2 upgrades on the way. It's going to be up 2 upgrades. Right now is up 1 upgrade. Thermal Lance is not done yet. This is a massive Marauder force. Gumiho is going to start moving forward right now. Tank needs to siege up. This is way too aggressive though for Gumiho. No, can he do this? Not quite sure if he can. There's a super battery there still. Mines are in awful positions. Half of the Marauders are shooting at probes and a pylon. Not quite what you want either. Here comes the Zealot flank. Mines now finally jump into action as well, but this army will get cleaned up. Poor fight here for Gumiho, who does start his Medivac production. Exactly like I said, after Medivac 7 and 8. I think he even should have started it most likely after 5 and 6. But of course he didn't know that Colossi were out. But at this point there's 4 Colossi. This is... Good lord, there was a jump in, huh? And Gumiho once again just looking at this going, what? There's no fort? Are you sure? He's probably just going to scout the top side base again as well. And making sure there's nothing there. How did... What? Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, I want to see that again. I am so sorry, but... He loads up... What is this? This is what we call game sense, my friends. A scan on your third base, and the response out of Zest is to blink forward. That is actually the craziest game sense I've seen in a very long time. What was that? That was extremely impressive. I'm sorry, I don't like stopping replays, but that required a quick pause. I just wanted to know if he saw something else, but he just knew. He can see through the fog of war in his brain. He has that type of vision, my friends. I'm surprised we're not seeing a 4cc either, by the way, out of Gumiho. Upgrades are continuing. No ship weapons either. Tank production. Gumiho has always been a bit of a weird Terran player, but... I mean, 3-3 off of 3 base and then playing Viking tank. Okay, he's gonna... Okay, I was considering that might be the option that he wants to go for. Just lifting his CC. This is cool, but this makes him more all-in than I think he needs to be. I mean, he's going to be up 3 upgrades relatively soon. You add, what, 3 ghosts to this army? I think you have an almost unbeatable army, no? But how you're gonna afford Ghost, Tank, Viking? Although he was on 4 gas earlier, just now starting to saturate these gases 5 and 6. Super aggressive on the map as well. He just has the oddest playstyle. It feels like he's constantly preparing for a massive timing attack, and then he just keeps dropping again and again and again. Well, obviously this drop is going to get cleaned up, or at least pushed back. So you have a couple of Zealots still here on the left side. Overall units lost heavily in favor of Gumiho. Gumiho, once again, kind of getting caught out of position here with this army. Way too far forward. The rest of the army is going to join in soon. Good control, though. Very gracious control. Always seems to slip in and out of spicy situations. The Stalker Count actually isn't there. Like, okay, this is a position you can't fight in. Are you kidding me? This is a 2 force field hole, my friend. You either need to take out the rocks or give up that position. Like, yeah, I much prefer this, actually. Gumiho somehow smells that there is a fort base over here. It's weird that Zest isn't moving there yet, and I think Gumiho will think that's weird. Zest now is moving, and there's no battery. This could potentially be really bad. Tanks moving in positions. Vikings, this is a golden spot as well. Oh lordy. These Colossi are going to have a rough time. Tank shooting in the back. This is going to be a very difficult position. No tank target fire. Very late with the tank target fire. Poor initial control here out of Gumiho. Oh, Disruptors get sniped down though. Not a single Disruptor hit landing. Lots of money in the bank still for Gumiho. Does get hit now by a couple of Disruptors. The Colossi disappear. Gumiho kind of jukes and jives forward, takes out the final Colossi as well. You now see the Vikings landing. I'm usually not a big fan of that move, as it almost never really works and just gives up these expensive air units that you might need to rebuild in 2 or 3 seconds again. I think that Gumiho might be overstaying his welcome a little bit here right now, and I think a Ghost Academy and an extra base is what's called for here, right? A couple of extra SCVs wouldn't hurt either, but the Ghost Academy is an absolute no-brainer in my opinion here. At some point, by the way, he swapped one of the barracks with a reactor because he was building 4 tech labs earlier. There we go, the Ghost Academy. It took a while, but he's finally getting there. I wanted to get the 3-3 first, I guess. But I mean, this is a no Colossi army. Ghost is just absolutely going to wreck this. Disruptor count is at 4. It's really the only threat in this army here that Zest is creating. And Zest really just making this game a lot harder for himself than it had to be ever, I think. I think he had this game multiple times and just kind of throwing it away with very debatable decisions. There were a lot of ways to, you know, to leave the road that he was in, the path that he took. It didn't need to be finished, but he went there and he's now paying the price. He's down 2 upgrades. I'd understand if Gumiho attacks into this. Let me say that first. But I also wouldn't mind if he would wait for 3 ghosts. I mean, this army just disappears like butter in front of the sun, you know? It just melts. And not even close. I think he should be aware of that. Like, ship weapons is the Liberators the plan here? He's adding 2 more barracks. This feels like a beyond like 7-8 racks. But then you need the Ghost. I am so confused. Okay, here we go. I don't understand the ship weapons. He's lacking gas by a lot. I am... Okay, well... 4TC, huge fan of this move as well. Gumiho is still massively ahead. Worker-wise, he's up in upgrades. He has a tech advantage. And let's not even talk about the vision and the momentum where it is, right? Like, who has the map control currently? That's definitely Gumiho. Zest is not really allowed to do anything. The moment Zest finds this part of the army, Gumiho will just move in with this part. Like, it is obvious to me that Zest has no right to be on the map currently. And the fact that Zest is moving on the map, I think, is a huge error. He'll need to recall this. He's going to lose his base before he gets the recall off, though. He'll also need to recall into the natural. This means the end of any extra disruptors. There's 5 stalkers in the main base. It most likely means the end of these stalkers as well. Somehow these zealots make it into the main of Gumiho, but start working on a refinery rather than something important. Reinforcements will be able to clean this up as Gumiho keeps both sides of the army alive. Zest needs to tap out, and what a comeback out of Gumiho. Being down 30-40 supply, down a base, 20 workers. Takes an absolutely brilliant fight at his 3rd base, and from that point on, just keeps pressing forward. Wins this game. Well deserved, as Zest just a little bit too sloppy in my opinion there. Cool game nonetheless. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I'll see you all next time for a new video. Thank you, and bye bye.